Hello, I want to say something today about a very important subject, and quite an important subject as far as personal development is concerned as well, because the subject is of being a scapegoat. And for those of you who do not know what a scapegoat is, it's very basically someone who is either in a family situation or any situation in life where they are placed with all the blame or all the bad stuff of the people around them. And so everything basically is dumped on the scapegoat so that other people can just get away with whatever they want to by using this person as an excuse for their behaviour or as a means of placing the blame for something that they have done on someone else. And so understanding what scapegoating really is really important. Because for those of us who have been placed in a scapegoat role, and it is possible for us to be placed in various roles without us realizing it. So have a look at my video on autocasting, because that's a very good connection to scapegoating, as is projection. So I've done a video on projection as well, because that is connected quite closely to scapegoating as well. So the reason why understanding scapegoating is so important is because in terms of our personal development, if we get placed in various roles and situations and relationships that are detrimental to our welfare, it can also be detrimental to our growth. And if we are placed in these various situations and there is some damage being done to our life and to our self-esteem or to our identity, importantly, then it can also halt our growth because we get tied up in these roles and these parts that people are placing on us, and our growth can become hindered as far as our personal development is concerned. And I'm sure a lot of you have experienced that in your own life, where circumstances have taken over and we find that we've lost the resources in order to sow into our own life and our own growth, because we've been tied up in these situations which may have not been of our making. It could just be that we have been scapegoated. And as I said, scapegoating can happen in families, where one member of the family is used to carry all the blame and the negativity in the family. And this is where you get the black sheep of the family idea from, that they are apportioned this role of being the scapegoat or the black sheep. And quite often, when they're apportioned this role, there are sort of smear campaigns involved and character assassinations, and there's quite a morphing of the person's identity, which can seem quite bizarre to the scapegoat in question, especially if they're not aware of what is happening. Because once you become aware of what is happening and that we have been placed in a particular role, which may be absolutely nothing like who we are at all, and that often is done on purpose, so that the perpetrator of the system in the family or organisation often deliberately can cause a smear campaign so that that person's character is, the true character is not known by the people around them. And so they are placed into the role of scapegoats. And quite often, when you get projection like this, as I mentioned in my other video, quite often the person involved, the scapegoat, may even find themselves acting out the projection that has been placed upon them. But my focus today is primarily on the effect that this scapegoating can have on our personal growth, which is why it's important to understand when we've been placed in the scapegoat role, and to understand, particularly with very narcissistic people, that the scapegoat is often used in terms of keeping them out of the way so that the narcissist can take the primary position and receive all the glory, if you like, within the situation. That can happen in a family or organisation or any type of group situation. And so, as I speak about in a lot of my videos, conscious awareness is very important, because when we become consciously aware of what is actually happening, rather than getting tied up in the drama and the role making and trying to find out what's happening by running here, there and everywhere, a good idea is just to step back, realise that there may be scapegoating going on here, and to ask to be shown in your times of meditation actually what's happening in that situation, so that you can possibly withdraw, or at the very least just stand back and become aware of what is happening, so that we can leave and take care of ourselves, which is our primary concern when we're talking about safe relationship training. Because safe relationship training is about learning how to take care of ourselves in all situations, across the board, in terms of relationships and in terms of the situations that we find ourselves in, particularly if there is scapegoating involved, and particularly in terms of looking at our own behaviour and how we are coming across the situations and what sorts of messages that we're sending in that situation. And so having a very strong sense of self is a really good personal development tool to foster, because when we have a very strong sense of self, in other words, we have a very strong sense of our own identity and who we really are, we are less likely to be autocasted or drawn into a scapegoated role, because we are more likely then to set boundaries with ourselves and set boundaries with other people or with that situation, and we are more likely to be able to have the tools to leave and to say no to the plan and to say that's not who I am and I'm going. And also, when you have a strong sense of self, you have more confidence and you have higher self-esteem in order to back those actions up. And so no matter whatever role other people are placing you in, Because when we have a strong sense of self, we're less likely to step into a role that's been placed onto us by other people, even if it's family or friends or in a work situation or any situation. So I hope that that was helpful to some people out there, especially if you've been placed in a scapegoating role, because I wanted to encourage you today to say we don't have to stay in any role that anyone else has placed us in, because we are unique, independent individuals and we have free will and we can make choices in order to take care of ourselves. So I wish you well with that, and as always, stay safe and very happy. Bye bye.